Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stony Ridge Farmer. Welcome to the farm vlog today. Today we're going to be using a pretty cool, unique piece of equipment here on the back of the 240 tractor. Have you ever driven by somebody's farm and saw a beautiful garden bed all bedded up like that with beautiful plants in it? Well, today we're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to use a row bedder from Everything Attachments. Check it out. See how pretty this is? We'll take you through the setup of the machine. We'll show you how to use it, and we'll bed up this garden. We'll take it from a flat mess, kind of like this, and make it into something beautiful and wonderful just like this. So come along on the farm vlog today as we all learn together how to use the row bedder. All right? Woo! Stony Ridge. First of all, guys, I want to welcome you to the channel. If this is your first time to the Stony Ridge, welcome to the channel. If you like this kind of content, if you like to just get out and see something new, see somebody working the garden, working the land, this is just great stuff. We've got over 500 videos out now. If this is your kind of thing, pound that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you here on the farm. We're doing so much fun stuff. So what we have here is manufactured in Newton, North Carolina. It's called the GB60. It's a row bedder. In other words, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through this soil that's already been tilled up, it's already been turned, tilled, and we're gonna bed up rows to plant our squash, zucchini, stuff like that that needs to be bedded up. And we're actually gonna plant beans here, and we're gonna plant our watermelons and our cantaloupes here. So this upper garden right here is dedicated to corn, cantaloupes, and all sorts of other stuff like that. We're going to be planting all kinds of fun stuff this year. So what we have here are several different apparatuses. This thing right here that I have is called a sweep, and these are called C-tines. This follows in behind the tread of your tractor tire in order to break up the soil so that you don't get compression from your tractor tire. These discs here work hand in hand to pull up the soil into a bed, and this right here is a little furrowing plow tip, and this furrowing plow tip right here cuts a little groove in the top of your row bed so that you can put your seeds in the ground, or you can put your plants directly in the ground. Now we're going to row bed this garden, and we're going to row bed the other garden that we have down the hill. This garden here has a lot more rough material in it. In other words, it has a lot more wood chip material and compost type material that's a little bit thicker. We've been working this garden for 2 years. The other garden we've been working for 4 years. So that garden has broken down a lot more, and the soil will be a little bit different. I say cut. We're going to cut the soil probably 4 times on each furrow. In other words, we're going to go back and forth 4 times on each section. And there are a few little tricks that I've learned along the way here that I want to share with you, so that if you guys decide to buy one of these row bedders to make your garden beautiful and make it grow right, that you know how to do it. So the first thing I want to talk to you about are the sweeps. The C-tines and the sweeps. There's a tine right down here that digs into the soil, that breaks up the soil behind the tractor tire. And we're going to get into this, and we're going to follow it with the drone, and we're going to show you all this stuff in action. So just stay tuned here. This is fully adjustable. This arm is fully adjustable, and the C-tine needs to try and be directly in line. So I can adjust this entire apparatus this way and that way. I also have an adjustment here where I can rotate it this way and that way, and I can also take these American-made U-bolts and I can move them out and in, so you can use this with a smaller tractor, a subcompact tractor, a compact tractor, or a larger tractor, as you can move them outward and you can bring these arms. So if my tractor tire was way out here, I could still bring my C-tine out here to break up the soil behind a big old heavy tractor. And we've got a big old heavy tractor that weighs about 9,000 pounds. This tractor weighs in at about 5,500 pounds. It's a Massey Ferguson 240 tractor. So before we dip this thing into the soil, I think it's important for you guys to understand the infinite number of adjustments that we can make with this machine. In other words, it can fit most any size tractor except for maybe a lawn tractor. You might want to get a little bit smaller, but you can fit a subcompact, a compact, or a full-size tractor with this. There are so many infinite adjustments on this. It's just mind-boggling. So when you first get this piece of equipment to your house and you first use it, you're gonna have to make those adjustments to figure out the way you want your rows bedded up. So we had to make some adjustments with our disc here. We had to angle them in the way we wanted them. We didn't want a very aggressive cut. We wanted to pile up our rows. We wanted them to be about that wide. We figured out that if we turned around this furrow, that we got a better cut on the top, and I'll show you that here in just a second. We also had to make the adjustments of these tines right here, these C tines that dig in behind the tires so that we didn't make compression too much. We'll get out on the tractor here in just a second and we'll show you how this thing works. It just makes for a beautiful row bed. What it's going to do is allow our plants plenty of space, plenty of air, and all the compostable material that we've put in the garden so far is going to hold moisture, and we'll have a beautiful, wonderful garden this year. I cannot wait. Let's get busy. Let's get out here and spin some wheels. Never, ever, ever start your tractor without your butt in this seat. Push our kill switch in, make sure we're in neutral, and we'll fire her up, let her get to good operating temperature. You guys might be able to tell I'm a big boy for that tractor. It's a full-size tractor, but in order for me to get on and off of it, I gotta throw my leg up over the hood. It's kind of like getting on a horse the wrong way. In other words, like throwing your foot over the head of the horse to get on it. It's pretty funny. Some days when I get ready to get off that tractor, I gotta throw my leg over that thing and it don't want to go. While we're letting the tractor warm up a little bit, I want to show you what that furrow does, that middle furrow on the tractor. I want to show you exactly what that does. So if you look down our row beds here, that's what that little tine, that little furrow on the end does. It basically cuts us a little groove right in here for us to plant our seed. And if you look, that little groove continues all the way throughout. And that little groove is also right here. It's on the top of all the rows. We'll step over to the next row, just like so. That little groove right there is where we're gonna drop our seed. It goes right down the middle. One mistake that a lot of beginner gardeners make, and mistake that I've made in the past, is planting my plants way too close. You get your rows too close, and then you get down in there to pick your tomatoes or pick your squash, and you can't hardly pick your way through the row. So this helps us to widen our rows out a little bit, gives our plants a little bit more air, a little bit more space to grow, and gives us room to walk through, room to weed, and room to take these compost piles that I have basically on 3 corners of the garden, and we'll take those compost piles and we'll throw compost on the weeds. So we're feeding the garden constantly throughout the season, and we'll till that back into the soil next year. We'll let the garden rest over the winter, everything rots, everything dies, and then everything goes back to work again in the spring. Okay, so we're down here at the garden that's closest to the house, and you can see I've already kind of gotten a bit of a start. This soil is a little different than the soil up there. Let me show you really quickly. This soil is much, much finer, so it's taken a little bit more fine tuning. The lessons that I'm learning here is that when you come out to the end of your row, you need to lift up before you get out to the end, and you can see I'm pulling my garden soil back out into the yard here. That's okay. Certain spots like this, I'm gonna have to back in and pull, and back in and pull. It's still taking at least 3 runs to build a nice, good garden bed. And what I'm finding is the looser the soil, in other words, the thinner, the finer the soil, the less depth I have to use. Up there where I had a lot of wood chips, I had to use a lot of depth to pull a lot of soil up. With this, I basically just have to skim the top. Pretty cool. A lot of stuff I'm learning. Now you want to do this at about 3 miles an hour. We're somewhere between 2.5 and 3 miles an hour. If you go too fast, it just bunches up. If you go too slow, it just kind of bunches up. But if you just hit that right speed, it'll bed your rows up nicely. Now, what this thing is doing is inspiring me to till up a little more land and to plant a few more things. I think we're gonna plant a great old big pumpkin patch too. So it's kind of got me inspired. You can plant a pumpkin patch a little bit later in the year. We're in the middle of May right now, so still got plenty of time. I don't have to be the guy that has his first tomatoes on the vine or the first guy to get cucumbers, so I think we'll be fine. Normally here in North Carolina, we'll plant our pumpkins around the 4th of July so that we have them around Halloween time. And these are our pastured meat birds over here. Pretty cool. The proof's in the pudding right there, man. It looks absolutely great. When I got done, I took the tractor and I kind of ran over the rows just a little bit, and we're gonna take compost and we'll put it down in our walkways. This thing kicks butt. Before, I was having to rake it up with a hoe by hand. What a time saver. It makes the garden look super duper awesome. If you guys have any questions or any comments, please post them down in the comments section. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to use a row bedder. If you have any questions about purchasing one or if it'll fit your tractor, go to everythingattachments.com, or you can call the 1-800 number to Everything Attachments. Those guys have a great YouTube channel. I want to thank Ted and Travis over at Everything Attachments. If not for those guys, I wouldn't be doing this right here, man. So awesome. So thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed the channel today. Come back and join us again here on the Stony Ridge Farm. All right?